Welcome back, everyone. In our last episode, we explored platform as a service. The development playground in the cloud. Well, today we're digging deep, really deep, down into the foundation, actually. And when I mean foundation, I mean infrastructure as a service. IaaS. Welcome to TechSips with Nadina, where bold ideas brew and digital strategies simmer to perfection. I'm your chief strategy architect, here to guide you through the caffeine charged world of CRM, IT, and yes, what I playfully call digit transformation. Think of it as a bite sized tech wisdom, like the perfect espresso shot to kickstart your digital journey. So imagine needing to launch a new product next quarter. How about quickly scaling our current infrastructure to handle that increased demand? And what if you needed to deploy globally overnight? Well, as those questions sink in, and as you're thinking about whether you could or could not do it from a business perspective, this is where infrastructure as a service comes in. In fact, many successful companies already rely on it. So, for today's episode, as we sit down and we talk about infrastructure as a service, we're going to use two examples: Netflix and Spotify. So, let us take Netflix. Netflix is using Amazon Web Services, AWS, to power their massive streaming services and to manage their e-commerce operation, the subscriptions and merchandise. Similarly, Shopify, which, hosts millions of online stores, is built on Google's cloud IaaS offering. Now, these two examples, we'll run them deep through the episode so that you can have a visualization and really be grounded in infrastructure as a service. If you think about IaaS providing the fundamental building blocks of cloud computing, virtualized servers, storage, and networking, all the things that are essential for IT resources and available on demand, really think about it like renting land and building your own house. You have complete control over the design, the materials, everything that you need to build a successful house. Well, infrastructure as a service gives you the same level of control for your IT infrastructure. But as we talk about IaaS, let's really deep dive into the core capabilities. First, let's talk about virtualization. This is really the magic behind infrastructure as a service. Instead of relying on physical servers, we use virtual ones. It's like having multiple computers running on a single machine. It allows you to maximize efficiency and save money. Think about it. You can easily spin up new virtual servers to handle spikes in traffic, just like Netflix would do during their peak viewing hours, or Shopify would do during flash sales or big holidays like Black Friday or Christmas. Then, of course, we need to talk about the storage. When it comes to storing massive amounts of data, it's important to understand that each infrastructure as a service will have various offerings when it comes to the type of data you're trying to store. So there's fast block storage for your applications. There's file storage for shared access. There's scalable object storage for data archives. All of these are secure, reliable, and accessible from anywhere in the cloud. Infrastructure as a service will provide scalable storage solutions that can handle mass amounts of data. Think about your vast library of movies in Netflix, or, your millions of products that you're buying and shopping when you're using Shopify's platform. Now, When it comes to all this data, we need to provide the road and the highways, and that's your networking. You create secured, isolated networks in the cloud, VPCs, and you manage how that traffic flows with your load balancers, and you protect your infrastructure with firewalls. You want robust networking capabilities to ensure fast loading times and secure transactions. Critical for building trust with customers, as both Netflix and Shopify have demonstrated. And then, of course, we need our compute. And what exactly is compute? Think about it as your horsepower when it comes to cloud computing. Need a simple server for a website, a powerful machine for data analysis. Well, infrastructure as a service offers a wide array of virtual machines optimized for specific tasks, different instances depending on what you're trying to do, from website front ends to backend systems, just like how Netflix is using it for a variety of different tasks, similar to Shopify. Now, I know we've gone over the core capabilities, but there's always that lingering question for us. Why does it matter to us? Why does infrastructure as a service really matter? Well, of course, there's cost savings. Forget about the huge upfront investment in hardware. Infrastructure as a service allows you to pay for what you need, and it allows you to scale up or scale down in minutes. Then think about it from a company perspective. Companies like Netflix and Shopify, they're avoiding the cost of investing and maintaining their own data centers. And what this allows them to do is focus on growing their core businesses. There's also scalability and agility angle. Remember that new product launch we talked about in the beginning? Well, with infrastructure as a service, we can instantly add more servers to handle the traffic surge. We can scale back down when we don't need those resources, and we can adapt to market changes with incredible speed. Infrastructure as a service enables businesses to quickly scale their infrastructure, handling the demand and the fluctuations, which, again, from a Netflix perspective, would be essential for things like new releases and for Shopify during peak shopping seasons. Now, we also have to think about our business continuity. What happens if a disaster strikes? Well, infrastructure as a service has built in disaster recovery, data replication, and backups and failover systems to ensure that our critical services stay online, minimizing downtime and potential loss. In case of unexpected disruptions, infrastructure as a service can help businesses quickly recover their operations, minimizing their downtime and their revenue loss. And again, when it comes to availability, we expect 24/7 availability. So, depending on which provider you've gone with, they will offer different ways to help you there. Think about it from your IT team's perspective. They can focus on innovation. They're not managing servers, cables, and really infrastructure as a service is not their day to day grind. So it allows them to focus on projects that will drive real value and that will drive real business value to you. Now, when we talk about the infrastructure as a service landscape, we really have to talk about the major players out there: Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. Each has their own strengths and weaknesses. AWS has a large ecosystem. Microsoft Azure integrates well with your Microsoft tools. And Google Cloud, well, they really excel at data analytics and AI. When it comes to choosing a provider, you really need to evaluate which best align for you and your specific needs and your existing systems. Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a quick break to tell you about some exciting things that we're doing here at TechSips with Nadina. So one of the things I've been thinking about is where can we really have a home, so to speak, a community where we can discuss. Here's a few things that I've done. We have a Facebook page where I will be posting information on upcoming episodes and very light interaction. Then we have a YouTube community where we also have light interaction as well as posting upcoming episodes. Now, when it comes to a podcast perspective, I wanted to start a newsletter. This newsletter will always be free and it's going to be hosted on Substack. Substack is going to be the place where I do more in-depth communication and more in-depth community. So join me on Substack and subscribe to the newsletter so that you can always stay up to date with the latest offerings. Thank you. Now, I always hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's always things to consider. We've talked a lot about these different providers. We talked about them when I talked about platform as a service. And well, things that come up is vendor lock-in. You really need to make sure that you have a strategy and you want to avoid being overly reliant on a single provider. When do you go all in on a provider versus having multiple providers on your ecosystem? And of course, security will always be top of mind. When it comes to the cloud, security is critical. You need to make sure you implement robust, secure measures and best practices. And, well, expertise. You will have to invest in training, hiring different cloud specialists. If you have multiple clouds, well, that's multiple cloud specialists so that you can manage your infrastructure as a service effectively. Remember, infrastructure as a service is not just about the technology. It's really a strategic enabler, and it gives us the flexibility and scalability efficiencies that we need to compete in today's digital world. Just like Netflix and Shopify are leveraging infrastructure as a service to achieve their business goals, you too can harness the power of the cloud to gain a competitive advantage in the digital marketplace. I recommend that you conduct a thorough assessment of your current infrastructure, explore the potential benefits of migrating to infrastructure as a service if you're not using it, and make sure that you are doing what you need to do so that it is a game changer for your company. And with that, we've covered all there is about infrastructure as a service. And join me next time where we'll talk about, well, actually, I won't give it away. Just know that it's cutting edge and ready for prime time. So until next time. So raise your mug to the future. Let's clink virtual teacups and savor the sweet digital success. Subscribe to TechSips with Nadina, and together we'll craft your future one strategic blend at a time.